PR Connections Radio presents
Welcome to the Sports Angle on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, the greatest city to ever exist. I'm your host, Ian Kelly. Now, if you want to follow the show at Sports Angle on PRConnectionsRadio.com, go to our social media at Sports Angle on PR. That is Sports Angle on PR. If you want to follow your host, it is at Ian Kelly 18. And if you want to follow PR Connections Radio, at PR Connections Radio. Also, go to our website, sportsangle.com. I've been releasing new articles to the website, and we have our audio and video links connected to there as well. So if you don't want to watch or listen to former shows or this show you're listening to right now, go to the sportsangle.com. A recent article that I did was talking about the Lakers offseason and a certain superstar who might be going to the LA Lakers this offseason. If you want to check out that article, go to the sportsangle.com. For all audio listeners on iHeartRadio and Spotify, we are on there as well. So if you are on all audio platforms, go to the search button and type in the Sports Angle to listen to all the shows. So the NFL season, that's done and over with. NFL draft, done and over with. But the NFL schedule has just been released. It was a fantastic day very recently when the NFL released their schedule, and what an amazing day it was for your team to find out who they selected, who they have in week 1, who they have on Thanksgiving, who's on Christmas Day. It was a lot of fun to watch the schedules being released. And of course, somebody who's very knowledgeable about that and somebody who was a fan of the reigning NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles, and that is Dennis Holmes from Ignoranthinkers podcast. Welcome back to the show. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here, man. Listen, love having you on when you come on each and every Tuesday. Glad to be here this Friday for the Sports Angle. What's going on with you? How's everything?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man. Hey, I'm sitting here talking NFL, talking a little football. Hey, we might talk a little basketball later in the show. We'll see what happens there. But the NFL schedule being released was a fantastic moment. And, you know, the first thing I want to bring up is the opening night. All right, opening night, there's always a specialized game that's going to kick off, and it normally involves a Super Bowl champion at home raising the banner and having a celebration. Unfortunately, it is not your Philadelphia Eagles because they were defeated in the Super Bowl, unfortunately. But the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, is going to go and see the Detroit Lions on opening night. Now, I think this is going to be a marquee matchup. It is going to be a matchup that is great for ratings. But what about you, Dennis? What do you think about the Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs being opening night here for the NFL?
I think it's going to be pretty good. Detroit has to improve that defense. Hopefully, we will find out by week 1 have they improved that defense. They're going against one of the best. They're going against the best offense in the NFL. If not the best, is one of the best offenses in the NFL. They're going against the best quarterback in the NFL, along with the best tight end in the NFL. Now, their wide receivers, they put them together and they still win championships. So, Detroit has to put it together. They have a top-notch offense. Now, I know y'all going to say, hey, they lost a piece. They lost 2 running backs, but that offensive line is still intact. And I love to pick. I love the player. Let me say that. I love the player, running back from Alabama, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they got him a little too early, but I love the running back. I think he's the best running back. As a matter of fact, in my eyes, he was the best player in this draft. In my eyes.
I mean,
he was my favorite player in this draft.
To me, the best player in this draft was Buffalo Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid. But hey, I'm being incredibly biased. The fact that he came from Las Vegas, went to University of Utah, and went to the Buffalo Bills. I'll admit that I'm being biased there.
That's all right. It's all right. Jahmyr gives me that Alvin Kamara feel, and I love it. I love him going to Detroit. Plus, they got your old running back over there who can't seem to stay healthy.
David Montgomery, yeah, he's going to be a good third down back out there in Detroit. Yeah, that's how they're going to treat him over there.
Hopefully.
Now,
so
some other matchups that
offensively, I don't think they miss a beat. Defensively, they got to get Hayden Hutchinson some help. He's killing over there at the edge, but they got to get him some help. Hopefully, they made the right pieces in the off season to get him some help. Hopefully, but we will see. Maybe we'll see. Jack Campbell may be that guy, and maybe we was wrong, or maybe Dan Campbell just got him because his first last name Jack Campbell. And maybe that's why he got him. We'll see.
Hey, we'll have to wait and see. As we're talking about the NFL schedule here on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. And this week 1 has about 4 matchups that I really want to go over. We already talked about the first one, opening night, Kansas City and Detroit. But let's not forget that week 1 is going to have the oldest rivalry in the NFL on week 1. You're going to have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears in week 1. Now, for the first time in forever, there's some uncertainty here. I mean, this is the first time in 15 years Green Bay does not have Aaron Rodgers. First time in about 5 years the Bears have any expectations at all. So, when it comes to Green Bay and Chicago, it being the oldest rivalry in the NFL, what do you think about this matchup in week 1 being a primetime game?
I think this is actually a good primetime game. As everybody knows, Justin Fields is spectacular. All right. He is box office, as Stephen A. Smith would say. People want to see him. Everybody wants to know who Jordan Love is. This is it. They put the keys to the car in his hands. Who is Jordan Love? Can he ride the ship? Can he keep it going? Why did you draft this guy first round a couple years ago? They want to know. You know what I mean? This is the game that everybody wants to know. They want to know who's the guy. I like Justin Fields. Justin Fields is my fantasy quarterback. He is one of them. I got a new fantasy quarterback now. He is one of them.
See, the odd thing is that, yes, I like Justin Fields. I think that his potential, he'll be an above-average quarterback in the NFL. He'll probably be a franchise quarterback. But I even said when he got drafted, I don't think he's ever going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Granted, it's very rare to draft a quarterback who will eventually become a top 5 quarterback. You wouldn't know much about that because he drafted Jalen Hurts, who became a top 5 quarterback. But
I mean, at one point, Carson Wentz was a top 5 quarterback.
My point exactly. The Eagles are good at doing that. The Bears are not. But when it comes to Jordan Love, I've always been high on him. Anyone who watches the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio knows that your host, Ian Rakelli, Utah State is from the Mountain West Conference. All right, that's in my backyard. UNLV plays right here at Allegiant Stadium. So I've gotten to see Utah State. And because Utah State plays in that same conference, I knew that Jordan Love was going to be a good player. He's had to go to the right system. And sure enough, he went to arguably one of the best systems for a quarterback, and that's in Green Bay. So I will not be shocked if in the next year or 2, Jordan Love becomes a superstar in the NFL. I've been saying that for a while. I think he is the next Brett Favre. He's the next Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
I think you put too much on this kid.
Hey, you know what? When I'm right, I'm going to be smiling from ear to ear.
You think you need to just go dial it back. Let's let the kid progress. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's not kill this kid with those expectations. I mean, he got to go Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Bart Starr, a lot on the shoulders.
All those guys. Yeah.
There's a lot on the shoulders. I don't want to do that to him.
Now, speaking of the Raiders, of course, I have to bring up their week 1 opponent, and that is the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos have some expectations once again heading into an NFL season. them getting a new head coach.
NFL didn't give them many fucking primetime games. I can tell you that. Ain't giving
They
them
got
many
some
primetime games this time.
Yeah, they only got 4 primetime games. But when it comes to Denver, there's some expectations now. And in Las Vegas, you have a new quarterback. You're going to have some new weapons on defense. And Denver has some new weapons on defense and a new head coach in Sean Payton. So what do you expect for that game overall? Because Denver and Las Vegas, that is a rivalry. That is going to be a rivalry game.
I think Denver should win. I just think the Raiders are just like they're gonna have to let that coach go. They're gonna have to put everything that they got together and go get Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, you know what? Lincoln Riley, he's leaving the Pac-12. So after next year, I don't got to worry about Lincoln Riley. But, for this year, I still got to worry about him. So when it comes to the next 2 matchups in week 1 that are very important, we have the Saturday night football matchup, and you have the New Jersey Giants and the Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys competing.
Did you say
on
it's Saturday night?
Yep, it will be a Sunday night matchup on NBC. You're going to have the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Football Giants on Sunday Night Football. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how the Dallas Cowboys, once again, are always getting the most primetime games. But I will say...
They even if they go 0-17, they will always have one primetime game at Thanksgiving. So...
But do you think that's good for football, though? The fact that the Dallas Cowboys are always getting primetime game after primetime game, always being in the spotlight.
They are. I'm not going to lie to you. As bad as they have been, they're always going to sell. It'll never be a blackout game. So, if you put a Cowboys game on, you know that it's going to make ratings. And I'm sorry to say that about a lot of other teams, but in my lifetime, there has been a blackout playoff thing. Just let you know that there has been a blackout playoff game in my lifetime.
Right. To me, it's very similar to since I'm a hockey fan and there's a lot of hockey fans who watch the sports angle, it was like the Detroit Red Wings back in the day. When the Red Wings were winning those Stanley Cups in the 90s, 2000s, it was sold out every night. They were on the television every single day. Detroit Red Wings were hockey town. So I will say Dallas is very similar to Detroit out there in the NHL. They pretty much were sold out every single time. But the Monday night matchup is what I want to talk about. Monday night, week 1, and you have the Buffalo Bills, the Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills. And that's not his knitted cap, by the way. Just to let you know, that's Philly. That's not Buffalo.
Philly, baby.
And they're going to be going down to New Jersey and taking on a quarterback who has never suited up in a Jets uniform until that game in week 1, and that's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's going to be a very highly touted game, right? Week 1, Buffalo versus New York, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen.
He got a lot of, I'm just here to say, he got a lot of primetime games. I'm hoping that he lives up to the hype. Hope he don't do it Russell Wilson. I mean, because he do got the same guy over there, Nathaniel Hackett.
He does.
Hope he don't do it Russell Wilson.
I mean, instead of Broncos country, let's ride, is it going to be Jets Nation, let's go home?
Jets in the season.
As I'm continuing the primetime games, week 2 on Amazon Prime is going to be Minnesota versus Philly. So Philadelphia is going to have that week 2 primetime slot on Thursday night going up against Minnesota.
Let me ask you a question. Week 2, we play primetime against Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Word on the street, Kirk Cousins don't win primetime games, right?
No, he does not.
So is that an automatic win for the Philly?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, besides, you remember what you did to him last time? The absolute whooping you put on him last time?
I was there. I was there.
Absolutely. I mean, I will say week 2, there's really not that much in terms of surprises. Las Vegas taking on Buffalo, Chicago, Tampa Bay, kind of the usual. However, there are 2 matchups that do need to be discussed, and that is Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence taking on Kansas City. It's going to be a rematch of what we saw in the playoffs. So you're going to
Yeah,
have Mahomes versus Lawrence in week 2.
I'm looking for that jump for Trevor. Me and you, we both talked trash about Trevor, said he wouldn't be that guy. Trevor showed me a lot in the last half of the season last year. He showed me a lot. I like Trevor. Might not win an MVP, but goddamn it, he gonna fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
like
then
Trevor.
the second matchup is going to be Indianapolis and Houston. And you know what? It might not be Anthony Richardson versus CJ Stroud, but it would be really nice if it was, though, to have the 2 rookies
Is
take
it
off
week
in
2? Is it week 2?
week 2, unfortunately. Yeah.
It should be. I don't know. They might the Colts might start porn star uh
Washington State legend Gardner Minshew. Yeah.
Gardner Minshew. Yeah. They might start the porn star Minshew mania.
Yeah. And somebody actually asked a question on Twitter at Sports Angle on PR if you want to engage in the show. What do you think about Monday Night Football getting 2 games instead of 1 like normal? So starting in week 2, there's going to be 2 Monday Night Football games. There's going to be an afternoon one and then a night one.
Yeah, but that's every year they do that. You mean to tell me it's like that from then on
For
out?
example, week 2 is going to be Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and then is going to be Carolina and New Orleans, right? That's week 2.
Right.
Then week 3 is also going to be 2 Monday Night Football games, and that's going to be Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Hey, shout out to you, by the way. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, and it's going to be technical difficulties, folks. LA versus Cincinnati, pretty much a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago.
Oh, I did not know that.
But somebody's wondering if that's watering down Monday Night Football, or do you think that's great for the NFL to have two games on Monday?
I don't know. I don't think it's watering down though, but that's definitely one to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We will find out on that.
Yeah, we will find out on that one. And continuing the conversation, doing the NFL schedule release here with Dennis Holmes for Ignoranthinkers podcast. I'm your host, Ian McKelly, on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionsRadio.com. The primetime game on Amazon Prime for week 3 will be the New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers. So, of course, you have 2 of the biggest markets in San Francisco and New York competing on Thursday night. I mean, I think anytime you have a New York versus California matchup, I think it always draws well in terms of ratings. Anytime you get that cross, coast to coast, California, New York matchup. You agree?
Yes. I think it's good for ratings. I think it's good to see teams travel because a lot of people were saying that San Fran barely traveled to the East Coast, and that's why they were doing so bad on the East Coast. So a lot of people were saying, like, they don't have that many wins on the East Coast. See, they lost to Atlanta, they lost to Philly, and there's another team they played on the East Coast they lost to. And that's what people were saying. So to get teams to moving like that, and especially trying to get everybody to go to London. That's their new thing now. Go to London or Germany. Power off. Or if not London or Germany, Mexico City. That's
Mexico City, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Someone mentioned Seattle and Detroit in week 2. So you're going to have 2 teams with really a lot of potential in Seattle and Detroit competing against each other.
That'd be actually pretty good. Seattle versus Detroit would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Seattle versus Detroit.
Yeah.
And
then to round out week 3, you're also going to have Pittsburgh going to Las Vegas and taking on the Raiders here at Allegiant Stadium. It doesn't matter what decade or what era it is. It feels like the Steelers and the Raiders are always a big deal when they face off.
Just saying, I just hear the music from the 70s.
NFL films? Yeah.
Raiders.
And who was it? Was it Steve Sable? Was that his name? The guy who would
That's who I
narrate it?
saw. I didn't get to see his dad, so that's who I saw. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
And I think he passed away, didn't he, Steve Sable?
he did. Yeah,
Man,
yeah. R.I.P. to you. Rest in peace.
rest in peace, Steve Sable.
Continuing our week 4, getting into the NFL schedule. The Thursday night matchup is going to be Detroit versus Green Bay. Once again, we're seeing Detroit getting a lot of love early on in the
I
schedule.
think they have the most. I think they have the most.
Second, had them in Detroit. Them and Dallas are tied. Dallas and Detroit.
So they both got 6.
They both got 6. Yeah,
And I think y'all got 5.
we do. We have 5 for some reason. We have 5.
Well, y'all got 2 Thursday night games.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all got 2 Thursday night. See, I think that Black Friday. I think that Black Friday should have had 2 games.
You know what? I actually will agree with you. I think Black Friday, 2 games makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Man, I think that should have had 2.
Now, going to week 4, of course, Detroit versus Green Bay. We already talked about that. You're also going to have Miami versus Buffalo. We all know how competitive that was last year, but this year I think has a different ring to it.
Is it in Miami? Is that one in Miami?
It's in Buffalo. It's in Buffalo.
Oh, it's in Buffalo. Because I want to see those Buffalo fans go back. The one thing about them Buffalo fans, they travel well. You hear me?
Indeed. Yes.
They travel well. So, yeah, I want to see the Buffalo fans go back to Miami.
Yeah, indeed. You also have Las Vegas versus Los Angeles, the Raiders Chargers. That's going to be there as well. And then you have the Sunday night football matchup, which is Kansas City versus the New York Jets. So once again, Aaron Rodgers taking on Patrick Mahomes week 4.
Aaron Rodgers taking on. Okay. We're going to see how that works out.
The one thing about the Jets that no one's taking into account is how tough his schedule is going to be now. There really isn't any cupcakes he can go into on the AFC side.
Well, the AFC was already pretty tough. His division was already tough. Worst team in his division is the Patriots. And they're only the worst team because they didn't make enough significant upgrades to keep up with the division, in my eyes. So that's the worst team in his division. Just like, and they playing against the NFC East, which the worst team in our division is the Washington football team, Commanders. And they are another team that didn't make enough significant upgrades to start competing.
No, I did not. Yeah. And by the way, if you want to call them the Washington Commanders, Washington Commodores, the Washington Politically Correct, the Washington football team, Washington Redskins, like whatever you want to call them, go right ahead. It's stupid anyway. Now, heading into week 5 of the NFL schedule 2023, you have in London, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, the annual Jacksonville-London game, and that's going to be in week 5. I mean, can we just call it what it is? Tony Khan and Shere Khan, they're going to move Jacksonville to London. Can we just call it confirmed?
Well, they're doing upgrades to their stadium this year, so they'll be playing out of Florida State. That's what they're saying. They'll be playing out of Florida State. I don't understand why they don't just knock the stadium down and build another. You got 129 violations. Well, you got 100 plus violations. You need to knock the stadium down, start over. Sorry,
Indeed,
start over.
they
All
do.
them stadiums that were built in 1990 need to start over. All of them.
Well, there's about 8 stadiums that were built in the 90s, so I don't know about all 8, but I mean,
all 8. The Washington football team, FedEx Field, that one needs to go.
Nissan Stadium in Tennessee.
That one's already going. They already got a new one for that one. They already bought land for Washington. So them two are going soon. What's another one? We just talked about. So I guess the Panthers got their stadium.
Bank of America Stadium in Carolina. Yes.
Yeah, that one needs to go. Yeah.
Maybe First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. Maybe them.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Bengals, they're another one, right? The Day Stadium definitely got to go.
Yeah.
Somebody almost died on your field. Time for new. Not to
I
mention
think
you got a
maybe
hot.
the I think maybe the only stadium that would not go is Lemon Field in Seattle. To me, that's the only one that it cannot go. I mean, that stadium's just too good.
Well, I was thinking Lambeau Field wasn't gonna go
Oh, Lambeau Field, that's been around for forever. I mean,
nowhere. Yeah, Lambeau Field wasn't gonna go nowhere. They just gonna keep making renovations on that. That
which
was
is
that's for
actually the
sure.
smartest move, honestly. It's the best stadium in football. And I'm saying this unbiasedly. It is the best stadium in football.
I've never been. You make me want to go there.
You know, Lambeau Field, when you go there, December, you're freezing your balls off. It doesn't matter. You're going to the best stadium in football because of the environment, because of the tradition that it has. You know, it's always kept that.
Okay. Oh,
And number
Kansas
2,
City.
by the way, is Allegiant Stadium. Just want to clarify that. Number 2, best stadium in the NFL is Allegiant Stadium. So there you go.
He's making sure he get his plugs in, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all pay attention. He getting his plugs in. All right.
I
I
got to get
love
my
the way he
plugs in.
does
This is the sports angle in Las
plugs
Vegas, the
in.
sports entertainment capital of the world.
PRconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Y'all make sure y'all listen. He getting his plugs in, man. I love it. I love it. He teaches me new things all the time. Keep plugging, baby. Keep plugging. But I think it's Kansas City. They don't want enough championships. Time for a new stadium.
I mean, they're
They had a
so
hell
here's
of
the
a year.
situation. Here's the
They had a
situation
hell of a
I
year
found
this year.
out. Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium, which is the Royal Stadium right across the street, they're trying to get away from each other. So whoever gets a new
Parking.
stadium first is going to leave, and the other one's just going to stay put.
Yeah, parking. That's all it is.
Yeah.
We have the same situation here. We got all 3 stadiums here, and where the vet used to be at is now a big old parking lot, and where the Spectrum used to be at is a parking lot and is Xfinity Live there. So, which is like a stadium full of bars. That's actually what it's like. It's like a mini stadium full of bars. That's what it is. Like I think it's like 15, 20
Isn't it like
bars
a
in there.
triangle? If I saw it like from the sky, it kind of looks like a triangle with all like 3 stadiums around each other.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is. It's definitely
Yeah.
a triangle. Used to be 4 stadiums, now it's just 3.
Oh yeah, because Wells Fargo Center. Of course, you have the Flyers, and then the 76ers, but the Flyers are the main tenant. Then you got 76ers.
Yeah. But I think the Sixers are going to move downtown. That's like the new move, and there's been an argument that, and I've had this argument with plenty of people. We just been talking, just in the street, and they've been saying they would like the Sixers to move downtown because after you leave a Sixers game, there's nothing else to do. Like there's no restaurants to go to. There's nothing else to go. I was like, damn, they're right. It was like, but if you leave a Brooklyn Nets game, it's nothing but restaurants open.
Oh, of course, Barclays Center. I mean, Jay-Z and the Russian guy, he put all that money into it.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
So
hopefully we get the same main attractions. I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah. So insightful information from Dennis Holmes, Ignoranthinkers podcast, which, by the way, go check out Ignoranthinkers podcast. I go on there every once in a while. It's a fantastic show. Definitely go check that out.
We love having Ian on there because he has his crazy takes that draws people.
Crazy takes, that's essentially what I do. Now, getting back to the Week 5 NFL schedule here on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. You have Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. That's going to be a primetime game, pretty much a morning primetime game, but sure enough, primetime nonetheless. Do you think that rivalry still exists? The Ravens and the Steelers is not as bloody as it was in the 90s and 2000s, but is it still alive?
Ravens and the Steelers, yes. It's not as bloody, but it's still one to be talked about from their fan bases. It is. From us, it's not a game that we're looking to, we're excited to see that we know the final score will be 12-9, and a bloodbath, stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's definitely going to be fun to watch. And there's like 2 games on Week 5 left that we have to talk about. And that is the marquee game in the afternoon. And that's going to be the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, once again, going up against Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Because Nathaniel Hackett is the OC in New York, was the former coach of the Broncos last year.
Yes, he was. Got fired halfway during the season.
Kind of a revenge game of sorts.
I guess it definitely will be a revenge game. Hopefully Nathaniel Hackett learned his lesson and comes in this game and gets the W. I just got a feeling that Denver's going to be a little bit better this year.
You know what? I'm not going to do a prediction show yet, but I would not be surprised if they made the playoffs. If they were one of the 7 teams that made the playoffs.
Yeah, Buck Flair has a prediction show that he does, and I ain't gonna lie, he's been pretty close on these prediction shows. And I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
He does a prediction show with the fans every year. And he has been pretty close with these prediction shows.
Yep, except for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But besides all that, he's pretty good most of the time. Now, week 5, the Sunday Night Football game, you have Dallas versus San Francisco, one of the most iconic rivalries in the NFL. I mean, dating back to the 80s and 90s, Cowboys and 49ers. So it's always a fantastic time when you have Dallas and San Francisco playing under the lights, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, this is an old rivalry right here. This is going to be pretty good. Dallas, San Francisco. San Fran has put Dallas out of the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Oh, yeah. San Francisco fans will not let Dallas forget it. Jay will not let Czar forget it.
No, he will not. He will not let him forget it. And, I expect Dallas to win this game. Dallas has to come out and win this game for their own self-confidence and pride. Is this game in Dallas?
It's in San Francisco. It's at Levi Stadium.
Yeah, they got to come out and win this game.
And then the Monday Night Football game here at Allegiant Stadium, you are going to have the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders. So you're going to have Devontae Adams facing his former team out there, Green Bay versus Las Vegas. That should be a good game.
That should be. That'll be an unexpected game. That ain't one I'm looking to bet on. Let me just say that. I try to stay away from betting on Monday night games and Thursday night games.
Yeah.
Unless it's Thanksgiving.
Unless it is Thanksgiving, absolutely. Week 6, you are going to have Denver versus Kansas City on Thursday night. I mean,
That's
Denver,
good.
Kansas City, going to be a rivalry game, but we've already saw that last year. I mean, literally, we saw it last year on Thursday night.
I think it's going to be good. Denver, somebody has to dethrone Kansas City in that division. Somebody got to beat them. Only team I've seen beat them is the Raiders.
All right, Las Vegas, they've beaten them twice.
Yeah, somebody has to do it. Like y'all keep saying, y'all got all these good teams and how good the division is. Somebody got to do it.
It's like Ric Flair. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Beat the man. That's it.
And right now, Patrick Mahomes is the man.
I always say you got to beat the bully on the block. You got to start from your block. Start from your block. And your block is the AFC West. And right now, who running your block? Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is running your block. You got to beat them bullies on your block.
I mean, it's a fair point. That definitely is a fair point. You definitely got to beat, the bully on your own block. I mean, that's essentially what you got to do.
Right.
The London game will be Baltimore versus Tennessee. I feel like that's just enough. We could talk about it. Baltimore, Tennessee, and London. Good for them.
That's an old school rivalry right there. Yeah. I don't think it has the same feel.
Later on, you're going to have Houston versus Las Vegas. No, sorry, not Houston. You're going to have Las Vegas versus New England. You're going to have Josh McDaniels, facing his former team. So that should be at least an interesting matchup.
That's a loss for Vegas. Bill Belichick ain't taking no losses to his motherfucking predecessor.
Well, the funny thing is, last time Bill Belichick took on Las Vegas actually won. So.
Well, he gonna beat him this time. It's personal.
And we'll have to wait and see. And the other important matchup from that week is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles traveling down to New Jersey and taking on Aaron Rodgers.
That's what's up. Quick ride down the turnpike. Come on back home. That's all. Jets. Jets.
So, since we are talking about the Jets real quick, do you think this is Super Bowl or bust for the New York Jets?
I don't want to say that, but I will say it's playoffs or bust. You got to make the playoffs. Because your whole thing last year was you needed a quarterback. Now you got the quarterback that you wanted, you've been talking about you wanted since January, and you ain't get him to April 15th, damn man. So you got him now. I don't want to hear no excuses. Joe Douglas is my guy from Philly, made his way to be GM of the Jets. But I think you picked the wrong quarterback.
Who should they taken? Who?
I think they should have put all their money in on Lamar. They should have put all their chips in for Lamar Jackson.
You know what? That definitely should have been a possibility. You know, Lamar Jackson, New York Jets, they should have done it. But hey, you know what? They decided to go for a 40-year-old who's going to quit on him next year. So
I don't think he's gonna quit on next year. I think he's gonna be there for 3 years. I think he's gonna
I
be
don't
3
see
years.
it, man. I think he's Brett Favre 2.0. He'll be there for 1 year, getting some controversy, and then dip.
I think he do 3 years with the Jets.
Ooh.
I think the first year the media is gonna piss him off. The second year he's gonna get used to the media. The third year he makes his biggest splash as a New York Jet.
Yep, that's where we're gonna disagree. You have him going 3 years. I have him only going 1. I just don't see him as a New York Jet long term. I just don't see it.
I see him 3 years as a Jet, and maybe do 1 year as a Viking. That's what
I mean. At least we agree on the Brett Favre situation. Now, week 7, you know, Jacksonville, New Orleans. Not really much to talk about there, but that is the primetime game. Now,
no, that's actually a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Jacksonville, New Orleans. That's a good one. That's not a bad one to talk about. Is it? Where's it at?
It's gonna be in New Orleans, Caesar Superdome.
At the Superdome. I always say, you know what? That's another stadium I want to go to. Superdome, because they're not gonna knock that one down either. Because that's one from the 70s.
I mean, if a hurricane can't take it out, I don't think no one can. So.
Oh shit, that is terrible. Never mind. You got. But
hey, I'm just saying, man. I mean, it survived a freaking hurricane. Actually, no, it survived 2 hurricanes.
Yeah, it's about 2 hurricanes. But yeah, I gotta go to that. I gotta go to that stadium, and I like going to New Orleans.
Yeah, definitely. You could have parties in the middle of the day, you know, stuff like that.
Right. We're on Bourbon Street. If Bourbon Street is a little bit too much for you, they got another street that's a little nicer, a little laid back.
Yeah. Now, the other matchup in week 7 that we're definitely going to have to talk about is the Las Vegas Raiders, Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, Las Vegas Raiders going to be coming down there. And I'm only mentioning this because of obviously who I am, your host, Ian Rakelli. But I'm going to be intrigued by that matchup. I really am. I'm going to be interested to see what happens in that game.
It's in Chicago, right?
It's in Chicago at Soldier Field.
You should take that trip. You should take that trip.
You know, maybe I should take a trip to Soldier Field before they leave and go to Arlington Heights. Because, hey, they already bought the land in Arlington Heights, Illinois. They're just waiting to get built on it. So,
yeah. You should take that trip, Ian.
Hey, you know what? I might do it sometime. I definitely will. I might.
I've never been to Soldier Field either, man. We should take that. I
went there once. I think like in 2017, I went to Chicago. I went to Soldier Field, but that was, like I said, about 6 years ago. So
I've been to Chicago, but I never got off the. I was just at the airport. Let me just say that.
Oh, was it? Which one was?
Whatever one got the Chicago Bears. Whatever one got the Chicago Bears numbers everywhere.
Okay, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Because I was looking around, I was like, damn, they really got. I'm like, damn, I thought we liked the Eagles, but damn. So I was like, we need to step our game up at our airport. Shit.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Chicago, that's what they do. Now, moving over to week 8, and the primetime game is going to be Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. I mean, I think Buffalo will probably shut out Tampa Bay. You know, I think it's not going to be that close of a game. Sorry, Buck.
We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Baker Mayfield's your guy, right? We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Most definitely. You're also going to have in week 8, you're going to have San Francisco versus Cincinnati. So you're going to have Joe Burrow going up against the 49ers, arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, that's going to be good. That's because that should have been the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But they
weirdly enough, it could have been the Super Bowl last year too.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, they could have been playing each other the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. You are absolutely right about that, Ian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chicago and LA will be the Sunday night football matchup. Random, but okay.
Chicago and LA.
Chargers. Yeah, LA Chargers. Chicago Bears.
Where's it at?
Gonna be at SoFi Stadium out there in Inglewood.
I still want the Bears to win.
Yeah.
The Chargers hate me. But I love me some Justin Fields. That's the first Monday night game, right?
And then the Las Vegas and Detroit, that would also be the Monday night game. Yeah.
Yeah, they trying to keep everybody up late like they doing these NBA games. Late as shit.
Oh, similar to having the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs at the same time. By the way, whoever did that, I want to talk to you. Seriously,
well, I mean,
they made the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs at the exact same time. Like
it's the NHL's fault.
It didn't used to be that way. Like it didn't used to be the same time slots where you had to turn back and forth on each channel. I mean,
no, it didn't used to be the time. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the NHL's fault. NBA
really, I thought it was the NBA's fault. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was the NBA.
NBA had a playoffs run this time all the time.
No, what I'm saying is it's like back in the day, it wasn't this way where I had to like have 2 separate channels. I had to watch the NBA and then flick back and forth to the NHL and then take the NHL, flip back to the NBA. It didn't used to be that way. Like it used to be like more.
I thought y'all playoffs was at a different time before.
No. So we start at the end of April and it finishes in the beginning of June.
How long has it been like this?
It's been that way for about as long as I've been alive, really.
Dang. For some reason, I don't remember that.
But it's just annoying. Like, to me, it's just annoying because it's time slots, though. That's what my complaint is. Like, they have NBA games and NHL games all at the same time.
No, I got it. I just don't remember because it didn't used to be all them channels. You know what I mean? We was younger.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking like the late 90s, early 2000s. Wasn't all them channels. So I just can't see hockey, being blacked out because of an NBA basketball game. I don't know. Maybe because NBA used to be on NBC. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it is. You know what I mean? It used to be on NBC.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. That's weird. That's weird.
Right, it's weird, but I just had to complain about that as a hockey fan real quick because it's been annoying watching the Golden Knights game and the Warriors game on separate channels, like having to flip back and forth.
Hockey should set it up to where they start late, so that way, come June, hockey's postseason starts, and that way it's not really a competition because by the time June get there, it ain't but one basketball game on a day.
Yeah, definitely a fair point. We definitely should talk about that more on. But let's get back to the NFL schedule. Let's get back to the NFL schedule here on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. Tennessee and Pittsburgh, that's going to be the Thursday night matchup. Oh, okay.
What week we on?
Week 9. We're on week 9.
Did we play the Cowboys yet? The Eagles play the Cowboys?
The Eagles and the Cowboys are week 9. That'll be the afternoon primetime game. Will be in the afternoon.
I think they're gonna flex that to a Sunday night football game.
Well, Sunday night football is gonna be Buffalo and Cincinnati.
No, they ain't gonna flex that one. All right, they ain't gonna flex that. What about? Well, no, I'll wait till we get there.
And then Monday Night Football will be the New York Jets and the LA Chargers.
They gonna get rid of some of them fucking Monday Night Football. I'm trying to tell you, they gonna get mad at the Jets. I got a feeling the Jets about to let them down bad.
Hey, most likely. And then 2 other notable games. Las Vegas taking on the Giants. Of course, you have 2 former Patriots assistants going at it. Ain't that going to be fun? And you're going to have Kansas City taking on Miami in Germany. So you're going to have Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes facing off in Frankfurt.
Not bad. In Germany.
Germany.
That's the Sunday morning game, right?
Yep, that's going to be 6 a.m. You got to get up at 6 a.m. my time, which would be like, what, 9 a.m. your time? So
yeah, 9 a.m. my time. So that means by the time I wake up, it's on. That's the difference with me. But y'all got to get up early to watch them games. Because y'all games start 10 in the morning.
Yep, they start at 10 o'clock, which means fantasy football, I got to get up and make sure my lineup's in by 9:59.
Yeah, my lineup ain't got to be in until I try to get my lineup in by 12:30. I make sure it's set.
Yeah.
But then you always got that one guy. He's going to be inactive 2 minutes for the game start. The fuck?
See, my problem is, and I'm going to say this as a fantasy football fan, I've been doing it for over 14 years. I just always forget to wake up and set my lineup. Like, I'll do it the day before, right? And then I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be 2 guys inactive, and I'm just like...
Exactly how you be, man. You had no idea.
So, getting to week 10, and wow, we're 45 minutes in. This is going great. So, we have Carolina versus Chicago. So, you're going to have the number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young. He's going to be taking on the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. That might be a marquee matchup.
That might be a marquee matchup. Because, the Panthers got a pretty good defense.
Indeed.
Very underrated. A lot of people don't really talk about that. Very underrated. This might be a good look here. Miles Sanders over there might be a good look. Adam Thielen.
Hey, you know what? I've been saying that if you want a wild card pick, if you want a bit of an underdog for Defensive Player of the Year, Brian Burns. Brian Burns is going to be good this year. Like, watch out for him.
All right, I ain't going to say that.
I'm just saying, watch out for him. He has gotten better, and he's gotten steadily better every single year, like statistically. He's gotten better every year.
I got Minka Fitzpatrick on the first player of the year. They got him playing full-time edge rusher now. He's going to be on his Clay Matthews. Sean Marion. You remember Sean Marion?
Oh, yeah, UNLV legend, of course.
Sean Marion?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Sean Merriman.
Yeah, Sean Merriman. Yeah, he was. I think he was from Akron or Kent State or one of those places.
Maryland.
Oh, okay. All right.
Went to Maryland.
Kent State was Antonio Gates. Yeah, that was. Kent State was Antonio Gates.
Yeah, drafted to the Chargers.
The Frankfurt game is going to be Indianapolis versus New England. Have fun, Germany. 1 week you're going to have 2 great teams and Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. And next week, Colts and Patriots.
I don't know. They get excitement from Anthony Richardson, though. If he starts.
Indeed. If he starts.
Well, then they'll get porn star. Man, shoot me.
You're going to have the Jets and the Raiders. So Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers will be going up against each other. So you're going to have that on Sunday night for week 10.
Jets and the Raiders. Not bad. They probably going to throw some passes to each other. 8 and 17.
Yeah, he'll make an attempt. That's for sure. He'll make an attempt.
I'm talking like pregame. You know what I mean?
Let's see. Week 11, the Thursday night matchup on Amazon Prime will be Cincinnati versus Baltimore. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
That'll be the game. I'm looking to see if that'll be a top 5 game of the NFL. That should be a top 5 game of the NFL.
That definitely could be. That most definitely could be a very good matchup on Thursday night. Continuing the rest of Week 11, you have Las Vegas and Miami. Of course, I'm going over the Raiders' schedule because we are here in Las Vegas, sports entertainment capital of the world. So, Dolphins and Raiders, maybe some playoff implications by the time Week 11 comes around.
Maybe.
You're also going to have the Jets and the Bills once again. This is going to be the second time they take on each other. And you're going to have the Super Bowl rematch. I think you already knew this was coming. Week 11, Monday Night Football. You have Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, a rematch. Maybe some better fielding than what it was in the Super Bowl. But Week 11, you're going to have a Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, in Kansas City. We coming to spoil some dreams. We definitely coming to get them out.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch. Week 11 around November. And then, speaking of November, of course, we have Thanksgiving for week 12. We're going to be eating the turkey and eating whatever you guys eat during Thanksgiving. If you have yams, you have potatoes, you have pie, whatever y'all have for Thanksgiving. Yeah. So week 12, you have Thanksgiving. And you have Green Bay versus Detroit. Of course, Detroit's got to be in there for Thanksgiving.
I like it. That's a good first game.
The afternoon game will be Dallas versus Washington.
Another division game. So what's the third one?
San Francisco and Seattle will be the night game.
Oh, all division game. And then the newly acquired Black Friday game is
Miami and New York. You're going to have the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah, it's all division game. Might be division week, huh?
It's definitely going to be division week. You have New Orleans and Atlanta, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, it's going to be
like
division week.
Glad you said that, Ian. That's one to think about for my fantasy. The week 11, that's a big fantasy week right there.
Absolutely. And you're also going to have Kansas City coming to Las Vegas, going to Allegiant Stadium right here. And I have to mention, Patrick Mahomes has lost to the Raiders. And he actually is one of the teams that he has lost multiple times to.
Yes, it is. But Derek Carr ain't playing over there no more, so you can forget that.
Hey, we'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I know you got hope for Vegas. Shout out to Vegas.
Hey, shout out to Vegas.
Derek Carr ain't there no more.
Final week of November, you are going to have week 13, and that will be Seattle versus Dallas at AT&T Stadium on Thursday night.
Oh, that ain't bad. Dallas get 2 back-to-back home games. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
You're going to have a NFC Championship rematch, San Francisco, Philadelphia, and it'll be at Lincoln Financial Field.
Let's go, baby. Cut that shit up. Cut it up. Let's go. I like it.
The Sunday Night Football game, well, something happened there. All right, Sunday Night Football, you're going to have Green Bay and Kansas City. So, obviously, it's not Rodgers versus Mahomes, but you are going to have Kansas City and Green Bay taking on Sunday Night Football.
Well, that is one game that Love did start and do pretty good in. Just wasn't enough for him to get the win. So.
And then Monday Night Football, you have 2 former number 1 overall picks, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, on Monday night.
That ain't bad. Joe versus Trevor. That ain't bad. 2 former number 1 picks, 2 former national champions. That ain't bad.
No, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Week 14, which will be beginning of December, you're going to have 2 Monday Night Football games. Like I said, it's been kind of a theme of this year. You're going to have Tennessee and Miami and Green Bay and New York.
Okay. That's the New York who?
New York Giants. Sorry, New York Giants.
Oh, thought that was the Aaron Rodgers man.
They're gonna keep that away for a while. You have Philadelphia and Dallas on Sunday Night Football in Week 14. So you're gonna have Dallas and Philadelphia.
December 10th. Yeah.
Yeah, December 10th. That's right.
Yeah, I'll be there for that. That's gonna be good. I'm making sure I save all my money for that one. Me and my dad.
Saving your money. There you go. Saving your money.
Yeah. Me and my dad. We're gonna go to that game.
That's awesome. That is definitely awesome. You're gonna have Buffalo versus Kansas City. So you're gonna have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. That's gonna be Week 14 as well.
What time is that game?
That's gonna be the afternoon game. So 1:25.
Oh, okay. Say a little prayer for you. Oh, okay. So that's really 4:00 my time.
Yeah, 4:00 your time, 1 o'clock my time. Yeah, 1 o'clock Vegas, 4 p.m. Philly.
Like, what game started at 1:25?
You also have Minnesota and Las Vegas as well for all our people out here in Las Vegas who want to know about the Raiders. They're gonna take on Minnesota, so that's gonna be a good matchup for them.
Shout out to those Raider fans. The Raiders.
I mean, hey, I've said it on this show. One of the most iconic jerseys in the NFL is the Raiders, the silver and black. It's iconic. The logo is one of the best logos in football. All right, one of the best logos. It's iconic. The helmet. Week 15, by the way, speaking of the Raiders, they're going to be Thursday night taking on the Chargers.
Oh, that'll be a good one. Legion Stadium?
It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium. Yep, it's going to be right here at the Death Star.
The Death Star. Wait, that's what they call it?
That's what they call it. Yep, they're calling it the Death Star.
What?
They call it the Death Star. I just call it the best stadium that you could buy. Let's see. Continuing Week 15, you're going to have Buffalo versus Dallas. So I know there's a few friends of ours that are definitely going to watch that game. Dallas versus Buffalo, Week 15.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I can hear them now.
Oh, I could definitely hear them now 100%. You're going to have Philadelphia and Seattle. So Philadelphia will be going down to Lemon Field, and they will be taking on Seattle and the 12th man. So
I don't remember the last time we won in Seattle. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't think we ever beat Russell Wilson.
You know what? You might be right.
I don't think we ever beat Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you might be right. Let's see. Then Week 16, which will be Christmas, the two special games on Saturday will be Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh and Buffalo and the LA Chargers.
This Christmas, sun blazing bright. We'll wait till we finish the Christmas game, then I'm going to ask you a question.
All right. And then Thursday, you got New Orleans versus LA. Those are the two specialty games for Saturday. And then the triple header on Monday, on Christmas, you are going to have Las Vegas versus Kansas City in the morning.
Come on, tell them next one.
You are going to have in the afternoon the New Jersey Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field.
And the last one.
And the night game will be the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. So you're going to have Lamar Jackson taking on maybe Brock Purdy if he is fully healthy by that point.
We won't see.
So what's your question?
Do you think that is right that the NFL now has Christmas games, knowing that is the NBA's day? Like, what if the NBA came back and started having Thanksgiving games?
Well, funny enough, Dennis, that actually was going to be my rebuttal. My rebuttal was going to be if the NFL wants to steal Christmas Day from the NBA, I think it's all fair game. The NBA steals Thanksgiving from the NFL. I say it's fair game. I say go ahead and do it.
You know what, Ian? I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Oh, shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think when it comes to Christmas Day, hey, trust me, I love those NBA games, especially when the Knicks are on. You got the Celtics versus the Knicks. That's been the matchup very recently. Hey, trust me, I love watching those Christmas Day games. So
that's what I'm saying. People don't understand. Gotta keep tradition.
Yep, tradition is tradition. Week 17, we got 2 more weeks left doing the NFL schedule release, talking about it here on the Sports Angle on prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. We are at the top of the hour now. I'm your host, Ian Rakelli. We're here with Dennis Holmes for Ignoranthinkers podcast. You have the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns playing on Amazon. So you're going to have Deshaun Watson and you're going to have Aaron Rodgers.
That ain't bad. That's gonna be a good one.
And on Saturday, December 30th, you are going to have the Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys on ESPN.
That ain't bad, dude. On ESPN? On a Saturday?
On ESPN, yes. On ESPN, you'll have Dallas versus Detroit.
Because the New Year's game is the next day. New Year's and New Year's Eve game.
Yeah, that is correct.
I'm talking about for college football. That's what I was thinking.
Yep, you're going to have the New Year's 6. Yep, the New Year's 6 college football. Hopefully, University of Utah is at the Pac-12, being in the Rose Bowl, hopefully once again.
We'll see.
Maybe Tennessee will be in the Sugar Bowl, maybe. Maybe Tennessee be in the Sugar Bowl.
We'll see.
Now, week 17, you have a very meaningless matchup, but it does matter to 2 people, and that is the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field.
Whoa! It's going to be a game.
Now, who do you have winning that game, Dennis? If you had to put on your cap real quick, who do you have winning this very meaningless game in week 17? The Atlanta Falcons or the Chicago Bears?
Chicago. I believe in their quarterback more.
All right, Chicago. Absolutely. Chicago. I think they will beat Atlanta. I think that's going to be a good matchup there in week 17. And since somebody asked on Twitter about the Raiders schedule, so in week 16, they take on Kansas City on Monday night. And then week 17, they go up against Indianapolis on CBS. Now, that's going to be very crucial here in Vegas because Indianapolis has eliminated the Raiders from playoff contention the last 2 times they were eligible.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah, so Indianapolis has kind of been a thorn in Las Vegas' side since they came here. So
crazy.
Let's see. You're also going to have Carolina versus Jacksonville. So you're going to have 2 former number 1 overall picks. Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence can be going up against each other.
Okay.
In fact, actually, technically, you're going to have the last 3 first-round picks because Tavon Walker was taken by Jacksonville as well.
He damn sure was. Damn.
Should have been Aiden Hutchinson, but we all know that Trent Baalke wasn't going to take a Michigan guy. So, yep, good old politics, Dennis. The reason why Aiden Hutchinson was not taken first overall. Good old politics.
Kill you every time.
Let's see. You're going to have Kansas City versus Cincinnati. So you have Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes on week 17.
That'll be for home field advantage for the AFC.
We'll have to wait and see. And then you're also going to have Green Bay versus Minnesota. Week 17.
That'll be for the division. No, that won't be for the division. No, that'll be for second place.
No, I think that's going to be a chance for Green Bay to win the division. I actually disagree. I think week 17, Green Bay.
I think it'd be for third place.
Competing for a division.
Maybe competing for third place. Detroit gonna win the division. Chicago gonna come in second. Minnesota
Green
just
Bay,
got rid of Darius.
Hey, I'm going to say this in full confidence. Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, and then 50 feet of crap, Minnesota.
50 feet of crap. I love it.
By the way, yes, that was a Moneyball reference because the Las Vegas A's are going to be here. Yes, that was.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of which, I know that you are, this has been talking about the NFL, but let's just get to baseball for just a quick second. The Las Vegas A's, the Tropicana Casino and Resort, they're going to tear that down. The Las Vegas A's is going to be built where that is. What do you think about it? What do you think about the Oakland A's coming here to Las Vegas, the sports entertainment capital of the world, and the A's are coming here and they're going to play in Las Vegas?
I mean, you're only missing one team. That's a basketball, an NBA team.
And that's going to be here soon enough. That's going to be here soon enough.
My only question is, what took y'all so long?
So here's what happened. They wouldn't let us have a pro team. They had a ban on Las Vegas because we had gambling. And because we had gambling, we weren't allowed to have a pro team. It wasn't until 2015 that there was a certain case that was in our favor that allowed the Las Vegas city to all of a sudden have professional teams.
That's crazy.
Hence why after 2015 and that thing became overruled and we were allowed to have professional sports teams, funny enough, the next year the Golden Knights were announced. The year after that, the Raiders were announced. The year after that, we announced that we were getting the Super Bowl. Like everything started right after.
When y'all get the Aces?
Las Vegas Aces, I think they came in 2018 or 2019. So they came very soon right afterwards.
Okay.
All because that ban on us having pro teams because of gambling was lifted.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea that y'all get the team. Can't wait to see y'all NBA team, though.
Yeah, that is coming very soon. Trust me, that's why I've been saying for the last couple of weeks now. Here until it happens, I'm going to be a day one supporter of the Las Vegas NBA team. Regardless of what the name is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be a day one supporter of the Las Vegas NBA team. That's going to be my team from now on.
All right. I see your commitment.
Now, speaking of Week 18, that is the last week of the season, all 16 games are going to be, they're all going to be on the same day. No Thursday night, no Monday night. All going to be played at the same time, the same day. So you're going to have Cincinnati taking on Cleveland, and that could be some implications there.
Could be. What about the Sunday night game? Who has that?
Sunday night, I believe it's Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore.
Oh, okay. I thought it was to be determined.
Right down here it says Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. That's the last game on the sheet. So
okay. Hopefully it means something.
Yeah, hopefully it does. Minnesota versus Detroit will be Week 18, and you know what? Detroit might be battling for a division berth at that point.
Yeah, they should.
And then you'll have absolutely. Then you're gonna have Green Bay versus Chicago too. So you're gonna have the oldest rivalry in the NFL, and Green Bay might be battling for a division spot there.
So the oldest rivalry in the NFL played the first week of the season
and the last week of the season. Yep, first week and last week.
Well, I know the Eagles play the Giants.
The Eagles indeed play the Giants. Yes.
So the Dallas play Washington?
Dallas plays Washington. That's correct.
Another division week, I see this.
Yep, Week 18, that was actually set up by the NFL in 2014 to make sure that everybody played their division at the last week of the season.
So it'll be more meaningful.
Yep. The NFL purposely set that up, by the way, back in 2014. That's why ever since it's always been divisional matchups.
Makes sense.
I mean, maybe some notable games we could definitely go over. Denver versus Las Vegas. You know, the loser is going to be last in the division. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Buffalo versus Miami. That might be promising.
Maybe. Tua stay healthy a little bit.
Yeah. Kansas City versus LA. I mean, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. There might be some playoff implications on that one.
It better be.
I like how you said that, by the way. It better be. It better be.
It better be.
So that was really the NFL schedule release here on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rakelli. We're here with Dennis Holmes, the Ignoranthinkers podcast. So tell the audience all around the world, what is one game, like one matchup from this schedule release that you are most excited to watch this year?
That's a good question. I'm going to say besides me watching the Eagles, I want to see the Colts go against the Jaguars. And I want Anthony Richardson to start at QB.
Do you like Anthony Richardson? Do you like his potential?
Yeah. He was my number 2 player, best player in the draft.
Yeah. Now,
he was my favorite player to watch this college football season.
Yeah, I came from Florida, beat University of Utah in week 1. I definitely don't forget that. You know, him upsetting Utah when they were a top 10 team. Yeah, trust me, I don't forget.
He just electric, man. He's electric. He called himself Cam Jackson in high school. Because he said he was Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson put together.
You know what? Hopefully he can live up to that career, though. You know, 2 MVPs, 1 Super Bowl appearance. I mean,
hopefully.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say that to me, it's not one matchup, but it's actually one day that I'm looking forward to, and that is always Thanksgiving. I'm always looking forward to Thanksgiving.
But now I'm looking forward to Christmas now, too.
Christmas Day. Yep. Hey,
Christmas
NBA.
I got 4 basketball games, 3 football games. That's 7 games in one day.
7 games in one day.
That could be a big gambling day for me.
Oh, and by the way, NBA, if you are listening, if you decide to do Thanksgiving games, don't forget to know who you got to cut the check to.
Right.
If you decide to do Thanksgiving games.
If you don't want to cut us a check, send us plane tickets so we go to the game.
There you go. That's exactly what we got to do.
We will eat Thanksgiving. I'm hoping it's in Dallas. Because we will eat because I heard about Mark Cuban feeding the players.
He takes care of them well. He definitely takes care of them well. Now getting into the rest of the NFL, and I broke down the NFL schedule. I talked about the Raiders, who they're going to face for all 17 weeks. But the Las Vegas Raiders, new quarterback, the running back's uncertain. Josh Jacobs doesn't want to play under the franchise tag. Looks like he might get traded here out of Las Vegas.
Or maybe just pick up Dalvin Cook.
Might get Dalvin Cook. And your 2 tight ends, Foster Moreau and Darren Waller, are gone. So they are no longer part of the Raiders organization.
Tight
end? They did take a tight end, but it was kind of later on. So I will say for the Las Vegas Raiders, this offense is going to have a mighty shakeup. The defense got shooken up a lot. They let go of guys like Rock Ya-Sin. There was players like they had to let go in order to create some more space. But Dennis, when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders, where do you see them this upcoming year?
If y'all win 7 games, I will be surprised. That is my real evaluation. If y'all win 7 games, I'll be surprised. And I do believe y'all gonna fight though. Y'all got 2 hell of a defensive ends over there.
Are they going to finish last in the AFC West though? That's really
They
embarrassing.
should. They should finish with us in the AFC West, but you never know what may happen. Injuries can occur. Things can happen. A play call could go a different way. I mean, nobody expected Seattle to be Seattle last year. Nobody. I mean, look at Seattle. I mean, it could happen. Jimmy G can really be that guy right now and go out there and light things up. And people will
Speaking
be
of
sitting back
Jimmy
saying,
G,
Derek
speaking
Carr, who?
of Jimmy G, do you trust Jimmy G to be better than Derek Carr, considering what we saw the last few years?
I don't think he's going to be better than Derek Carr, but I do trust him to drive the ship. Let me say that. If you asking me if I need a replacement driver, do I take Jimmy G to replace Derek Carr? I take Jimmy G to replace Derek Carr. I know now. I know personally I can't take Devontae Adams in my fantasy because I know he ain't about to go off like he did before. Because Jimmy G don't throw the ball deep that much.
No, he's mainly a slot guy. He's a guy who's about 10, 15 yards. That's really what he does.
Yeah.
And speaking of the running back that I mentioned a little bit ago, Josh Jacobs, there's a lot of controversy about Josh Jacobs, the leading rusher from 2022. Will he play for the Raiders this year? Yes or no?
He'll play. He'll play for the Raiders. He'll play for the Raiders. What he has to realize is, and all the rest of the running backs in the NFL got to realize this: they have to start uh, a petition saying that running backs need more respect. Running backs and middle linebackers are getting disrespected in the NFL today. Fullbacks are extinct.
Yeah, there's only 6 teams in the NFL who still use it.
Fullbacks are extinct. Running backs and middle linebackers are getting mistreated in the NFL today.
And I will continue to say this. I said it in 2019, said it in 2020, said it in 2021, said it in 2022, and I will say it now. Your offensive line is the most important position in the NFL. You don't have an offensive line, you are going to kill your quarterback, you're going to ruin your running back, and you're going to waste your opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I've always said that offensive line is the most important position in the NFL.
I agree. I'm gonna have to say defensive line is up there too.
And I also think having a shutdown corner is vital in the NFL today. You know, if you can find yourself a shutdown corner.
That's why they all get paid the big bucks. Nobody gets paid bigger than the quarterback. That's why they all get paid the big bucks.
So I will say, by the way, Tyree Wilson is the rookie they drafted for the Las Vegas Raiders. He is going to be matched up with Max Crosby. You think that's going to be a nice duo here in Las Vegas? Tyree Wilson, he was taken 7th overall.
What happened to Chandler Jones?
Chandler Jones, he'll be an outside linebacker. He'll kind of be on the outside.
Okay. All right. I hope that works out. I'm hoping that works out. I understand he was best available, but I would have traded back.
Well, I actually kind of agree with you. I think the Raiders should have traded back with the Eagles. So the Eagles would have gotten Jalen Carter at 7. The Bears could have stayed at 9 and gotten the best offensive tackle available, and the Raiders would have gotten 10.
Because they should have got Jalen Carter. Right at the Raiders out. They should have got Jalen Carter.
Yeah, as a Bears fan, I didn't understand why we traded back one spot. Still don't get that.
Well, I mean, y'all didn't need Jalen Carter. Nobody believed in Jalen Carter because of all the allegations. But us,
yeah, and
I
isn't he
knew
being sued right now? Like, isn't like a father suing him?
Suing him and the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Suing him for $10 million, University of Georgia for $30 million. So it's a $40 million lawsuit. I mean, it is what it is. I understand the father. He's upset. He lost a son. And he felt as though it was potentially going to the NFL over racing. I understand.
And I will say, when it comes to the NFL, we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs earlier in the show, talked about the Las Vegas Raiders just a segment ago, but the Denver Broncos are an intriguing team to watch. I will say that Denver Broncos, they were a team last year that had a lot of hype and expectations around them, but now it feels like they're in a weird limbo. Russell Wilson still there at quarterback. Sean Payton is still being brought in to be the new head coach, replacing Nathaniel Hackett. Do you think the Denver Broncos could be a playoff team moving forward?
Yeah, they have a chance. They have a 50% chance of making the playoffs. They have a chance. They already got the wide receivers. They get Tim Patrick back, from his injury from last year, which I think he's the best wide receiver on the team. But Cortland Sutton is my favorite. That's what I'm gonna say. The running game is good. The offensive line's gotten better. It's all about Russell Wilson making those deliveries, and I think he's gonna make them. A lot of people was blaming his injuries last year, saying that's why he struggled. So we'll see.
And staying with the head coaches, now last year you had 8 new coaches. That was the most you had since 2006, having
Right.
8 new head coaches in 1 year. This year, it's a little bit tamer. You only have 5 new head coaches. I'm going to exclude Sean Payton from this question. So when it comes to the new head coaches that are entering the NFL, they're going to be rookie guys, never been a head coach before. Out of Jonathan Gagnon, Shane Steichen, D'Amico Ryans, and out of Frank Wright. Yes, I know I'm going to put him aside because technically, but out of those guys, who do you have as the best head coach out of those 4? Like, who do you think is going to be the best?
I think Shane's gonna do really good. I'm gonna give love to Shane. I think Shane is gonna run a opponent offense. Hopefully, he learns now that when he gets a lead to keep his foot on the gas. I'm going with Shane. Shane for the win.
And I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'm going to go over to the Houston Texans and take a guy who is a former Philadelphia Eagles linebacker, now is getting his first coaching opportunity in the NFL. Now, Dennis, you've known me for a long time, so you know that I was vouching for this guy to become a head coach all off season long, and that was D'Amico Ryans. I'm a big fan of D'Amico Ryans. I think that he's a very smart and very intelligent head coach, and I'm very happy to see him get an opportunity here in Houston. And I think the Texans are going to be a team to watch. A lot of people are very high on Jacksonville. Hey, I get it. Believe me, I do. I'm just saying, watch out for Houston. They had arguably one of the best off seasons out of any team in the NFL.
I agree. 100% agree. You're 100% right. I agree with that. Watching out for Houston.
And staying with head coaches real quick, just because I had this question get popped up. If you had to do your top 5 head coaches in the NFL right now, if you had to give us a list of who you think the top 5 coaches are in the league, who do you think they are and why?
Top 5. Well, let's go. I'm going to go Kyle Shanahan. Give me the Bengals coach was Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor, yep.
I'm going Andy Reid. I'm going to give it to Nick Sirianni. I need a 5th. A 5th head coach. You know what? Nah, I'm being a homer. I say that. 5th head coach. 5th head coach. You know what? I'm gonna give him some love because I always talk shit about him that he can't win without a starting quarterback. And last year, his starting quarterback went down, and he won 4 out of 5 games. So I'm gonna go with Mike McCarthy. I'm gonna give him number 5.
So my top 5, I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. At 5, I have Mike McCarthy from the Dallas Cowboys. I really do believe he is a top 5 coach. Based off of what he's done in Green Bay, based off of what he has done currently in Dallas, he has the ability to be a good coach in the NFL. He showed it with 2 different organizations. The only thing that really has cost him is time management. That's really been the one thing going against him. We saw in Green Bay and we saw in the last playoff series against Dallas, he's not really good at time management when it matters the most. So that's number 5, Mike McCarthy. At number 4, I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, there's a reason why he has gone 16 consecutive years without a losing record. All right, you don't just do that unless you know what you're doing. So I have a lot of praise for Mike Tomlin. I think that he is a fantastic coach. So he's my number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go with one of the geniuses of the NFL, a guy who's done it in college football and the NFL, and that is Pete Carroll. I am always a huge fan of Pete Carroll. I like what he has done in Seattle throughout his entire career, and he has shown it decade after decade why he is one of the best coaches in football. Number 2, I have the guy who just recently won a Super Bowl, a guy who was part of your team, and a guy who is now in Kansas City, and that's Andy Reid. And number 1, we have a guy who won 8 Super Bowls, and of course, that's a guy still in New England, Bill Belichick.
Okay. All your guys won Super Bowls. All my guys are making moves right now.
Hey, Dennis, the one thing you can't say about me is that I'm not consistent. I told you that in order to be a success as a head coach, you got to either win a Super Bowl or at least make a Super Bowl. To me, that's the definition of a success.
Divisional round of playoffs is success for me.
But see, that's where we're different. To me, if you're hired as a head coach, you're being hired to take them at least to a Super Bowl, if not win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. But it ain't always going to happen, so that's why I say that.
Okay.
Ooh, what we got next?
Now, we got 5 minutes left, so we are going to do contender or pretender. I'm going to give you a name, and you're going to tell me if they are a contender to win a Super Bowl or if they're a pretender to not win a Super Bowl. The first one is going to be your Philadelphia Eagles. Pretender or contender?
They're contenders.
Next, we have your NFC rival, and that is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Contender or pretender?
They're contenders. They're contenders.
Really? Even with Dak Prescott? Really?
They're contenders, yeah. I like Dak Prescott. I don't know why everybody's so hard on him.
It's funny. I say pretender because, once again, my criteria, I'm saying is a contender to win a Super Bowl. Now, if it was to be a playoff team, they would be a contender. But to me, the Dallas Cowboys are not a Super Bowl contender. They'll make the playoffs, and then they'll get knocked out in the wild card round or get knocked out in the divisional round like they have for the last 2 decades. So,
okay.
Next team, we're going to go over to the NFC North. Detroit Lions, contender or pretender?
Contender. They have a chance to be something special.
Now, I agree they have a chance to do something special, but to win a Super Bowl, absolutely not. I'm going to go pretender for the Detroit Lions. They're going to be good enough to maybe be a playoff team, but they are just not good enough yet to be a Super Bowl team. Carolina Panthers, number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young, all of that. What do you think?
Pretender.
And I'm going to have to agree with you on that, pretender. However, give him 2 or 3 years, and I might have to change my opinion on that. Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints led team.
Pretender.
Yeah, that's going to be a very easy one for me as well. Pretender for the New Orleans Saints. Now, let's talk about the team that currently doesn't have a quarterback, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. Contender or pretender?
Pretender. I mean, contender.
I'm so glad that you did that because I was just about to agree with you. To me, they're a pretender. To me, the San Francisco 49ers, as long as they do not have a long-term solution at quarterback, look, you could have the greatest defense of all time, but unless you have a least competent quarterback, I don't see it. Trey Lance, to me, is a bust. Sam Darnold, who you have as your backup, is a bust. And Brock Purdy, we don't even know when he will come back. So I will say pretender for the San Francisco 49ers. And then lastly, we have the Seattle Seahawks, contender or pretender.
Okay, Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to have to say pretender.
And for the Seattle Seahawks out there in Seattle, Washington, they have Lemon Field. They have some of the most energetic fans in the world, some of the most passionate football fans I have ever met. And they have a very good quarterback in Geno Smith, a top 3 head coach in Pete Carroll, and a top 5 general manager in John Snyder. They had a fantastic draft. They had a wonderful offseason. So the Seattle Seahawks, Dennis, give me a contender for the Seattle Seahawks this season.
No.
So we have 2 minutes left here on the Sports Angle on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. So Dennis, give us about 60 seconds. Tell everyone around the world where they can find you. Shout your social media and any project that you're working on.
Ignorant Thinker Podcast on every social media platform. Ignorant Thinkers Podcast. Every social media platform. Next Saturday, May 20th, in Baltimore, Sam Sports Multimedia Network is having the podcast pop up. I'm part of the Sam Sports team, Ignorant Thinker Podcast. Make sure y'all come to Baltimore and come have y'all a ball. We're going to have giveaways. We got games. We got trivia. We got you covered. It's a brunch. Come get your eat on.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sam Sports, doing a fantastic job over there. I also want to give a shout out to my friends at Stay Tuned Live. Josh Bailey, exceptional show. One of the best shows you will watch around the world. So I want to give a shout out to Stay Tuned Live as well. We have both been on the show in the past. It is a fantastic content.
Yes. Shout out to Josh Bailey. Stay tuned. Just did an interview with the whole Stay Tuned, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Legendary.
Absolutely. And by the way, Sharon Mullen, the chocolate writer, she is amazing as well. One of the smartest people I've met when it comes to sports. Shout out to Sharon Mullen as well. Now, this is the Sports Angle on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. I was your host, Ian Rickelli. Follow us on all social media at Sports Angle on PR and at PR Connections Radio. So until next time, continue watching sports. Go support Junior League sports and go Knights, go here in Las Vegas.